Hello, my name is Hyun Chung, and now I want to introduce you to why is half of the world starving. Have you ever heard that millions of people around the world starving? In fact, according to FAO, 10% of the world population is suffering from severe hunger. One child dies every 10 seconds due to starvation and related complications. I came to understand the seriousness of starvation through Why is Half of the World Starving, written by James Ziegler. This book uses a story by asking and answering format, so young students can understand this book easily. Now, I would like to introduce you to this book and discuss the global issue of starvation. Chronic starvation is widespread around the world. According to this book, over 30 million people is suffering from severe starvation, and over 828 million people are struggling with chronic starvation. Starvation is not just hunger. It destroys people's minds and bodies and kills them slowly. This issue is particularly severe in some countries like Somalia in Africa, which has been in turmoil since the civil war. As a result of this long and never-ending fighting, many innocent people are dying in pain there. Chronic starvation is especially fatal to children and pregnant women. If women don't receive enough nutrients during their pregnancy, they're at risk of miscarriage or may even face life-threatening complications during childbirth. Also, the baby without proper nutrients during their gestation might be born with a weakened immune system or severe disorder. In fact, about 2.5 million babies are born in what is often referred to as the third world, and many of them died early, buried in the tomb of the nameless little ones. However, there is something ironic. As you can see, many people suffer from the agony of hunger around the world, but actually, there is enough food to feed the entire people on the earth. So then, why are so many people dying because of hunger? In fact, the root cause of starvation is not a lack of food, but rather the inequality of food distribution. Let me explain the underlying causes of starvation to you. First, multinational corporations, which can control the prices of staple crops, is one of the causes of starvation. They argue that they're merely trying to maximize their profits within the framework of neoliberalism, but they have been exploiting impoverished people and countries and taking advantage of their vulnerability. Also, they manage plantation farms, which diminish traditional farming and exploits local laborers. Second, food speculators. Food speculators have a significant impact on developing countries by manipulating the supply and prices of crops. To maintain high prices of crops, they even discard surplus produce instead of saving lots of people. Crops are just commodities to them, but the life and death of poor people depends on the price of $1 of grain. Finally, developed countries are evading their responsibilities. Most developed countries have exploited their colonies' resources and peoples during colonial era. Some developing countries are still undergoing severe civil war because of the conflicts during colonial governing time. As you can see, developed countries bear clear responsibilities for current hunger, but they're denying their fault and even utilizing this starvation for their profit sometimes. At the point, one might wonder, isn't there international organizations like Doctors Without Borders or International Red Cross? Why can't they solve the problem? Unfortunately, it is not that simple. First, most of them are often underfunded. Second, the poor transportation, the lack of social infrastructure, and uncooperative governments make it difficult for them to operate. This book had a profound influence on my life. By reading this book, I could realize the reality of the cruel I could realize the cruel reality of starvation and poverty. I felt immense sadness that so many people are dying because of hunger, and anger to multinational corporations and developed countries which are disregarding this tragedy. After I read this book, I read many books written by Jane Ziegler, and now I'm hoping to work in international organizations to contribute to solving this problem. Though our reality is so dark, I believe that there is still hope, as the author mentioned at the end of the book. Because humans can sympathize with the pains of others, many people are still fighting with their large enemies to end the bridle of starvation and make a world a better place. Finally, I really recommend this book to you. If you want to know more about the starvation, or if this is your first time learning about this story, start with Why is Half of the World Starving? I'm sure that you'll never regret it. Thank you for listening.